Lots of people rent out their vacation home. Should you? That's what we're going to be talking about on today's episode of Friends Talk Financial Planning. Hi, I'm John Shearer, and I run a fee-only financial planning practice in Middleton, Wisconsin.
And I'm Bridget Sullivan Mermel, and I've got a family financial planning practice in Chicago, Illinois. John, I just got this question this week, and I thought it would be a great one to talk about on the show because I know you have a vacation home and you're a financial planner. So the question that came to me is I've got a property that is a vacation home. It's my dream. I've always wanted to do this. I plan on passing it down to my heirs. Should I rent it out? And so I thought we could. It's a great topic for you. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I appreciate that you think because I own a vacation home and I'm a financial planner that I make good decisions about my life, right? Like that's a big assumption on those things. But I appreciate the confidence you have, Bridget. So, it's an interesting point, and we've got we've got a place on a lake up in northern Wisconsin, and we do rent it out. We've got some renters there this week. And so a lot of how I look at that is that it can be a nice way to bring in some money, right? So we pay our taxes with that money and can do some improvements. But oftentimes people think that it's a great tax shelter, maybe, or so there's some real benefits, and there can be some tax benefits, but it doesn't work out the way people think from a tax standpoint as much. And so it's not like, oh boy, yeah, you're going to save all kinds of money from a tax standpoint. Maybe you get some tax benefit, but that's like the frosting on the cake or the sprinkles even on top of the frosting, right? It's like if you're doing it, if cash flow is important for you to try to make some money and support your vacation property, it can make sense. But the flip side, and we've talked before about renting property in general and being a landlord, the flip side is that, and as I heard you describe your client, hey, this is our place that we want to pass down for generations, and somebody else is living in your house.
Right.
Just this week, we had an issue with the plumbing, the proverbial plumbing issue, and so we're dealing with it from a couple of hours away. And the person we got somebody who was really good, and he got there. Well, here's the problem. I said, well, super. How do we fix it? And he goes, I have no idea who can handle this for you. Now what do we do? Right? Like
So
that's
there's
the
nobody in the entire county
yeah.
or
And
couple county area.
this
Yeah.
guy's been in the business, and he works for the sewer district now. He's been around for 25 years, and he said, I don't know, you just have to start making phone calls. Like, oh, okay, that's a real fun use of our time, right? That
Right.
sort of
From
thing.
hours away.
And
Yeah.
so even when we've got somebody, oh, here's a smart person, and God, thankfully he's helping us, give us advice on what's wrong, and we got to deal with that issue, right? So those are the things. And then if things get broken, right? Chairs get broken, and different, and it's not even people that take care of things, right? It's just not theirs. It can be just different.
Yeah.
So those are the things that people, it sounds great when those checks come in, right? It's really nice, right? But what's the flip side, and what's important to you? So those are some of the considerations that I have people think through before they decide to rent out their place.
So what you're saying, it seems like what you're saying is that there's some emotional drawbacks, not just that you have to do work, but it's also that somebody's in your place. And how do you feel about that? Some people it might be good because they might be thinking, oh, well, then it's being used. And I like to have my place being used instead of just sitting there. But then other people might feel more proprietary about it and feel like, no, this is my dream. Uh, I want this to be mine. So is that the dichotomy that you see?
Yeah, you described it really well. That's exactly right on. So, and just as a personal example for us, this is a place, a lake we have gone to for many years. We had rented this place for several years before the owners put it up for sale. So our history, my personal history and my family's, is going and renting a place at the lake for a week. That was what our vacation was, one of our big vacations. And so when we bought the place, it's still, we have renters that have come up year after year, and they bring their families. And one of our values as owners is being able to share. It's a really neat place. And if we're not going to be up there, our goal is not to go up every weekend. So if
Right.
it's not being used, to share this resource and have other people have their family memories, of year after year going to this cottage, like that there's value in that for us personally, that makes us feel good that we're able to share that with other people. And of course they're paying us for it, right? It's not out of the goodness of our hearts. We're making some money and we're having this other part that's a really big component for our family. Then it fits. And for other people, as you described, well, hey, wait a minute, I want people in my house and doing things. And so, you have to look at it from that side of things. And one thing just popped into my head, like one of the things that we have to deal with is being zoned in our county as effectively as a hotel. That's not the right term, but a place of
Right, good point.
vacation residence. And so the county comes in and has to inspect our property every year, and we have to meet certain requirements. And it's not a big deal, but it's just those little things, right? That sort of thing where, and we have to pay taxes to the county when we have renters that come in, because just like a hotel has to pay taxes, those sorts of things, those not a big deal, but we've got to send in a quarterly report, and it's just enough of a pain in the rear end. It's adds layers of complexity that we otherwise wouldn't have.
Right. And I know that in some resort areas, they're restricting, or there's more laws about what you can really do. So I don't think that people can just assume they can rent it out, or that they
That's
can
right.
rent it out to make X amount. It depends on where the property is. And probably the hotter the location, the more kind of red tape or other people that want to have their opinion heard about how you use it.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's to me, it's a personal decision, and you have to look at the revenue. You could make some money,
Mhm.
right? But how much is that versus the other side of what you lose, right, on the downside? And it's sort of like the idea, and we've talked before about, do you even buy a vacation place? We often spend money on things where it's not an investment, right? I take a
Right.
vacation, take a trip, so if you separate out that, oh yeah, you can make money doing a lot of things, but how does that relate to your other goals? What are your
Right.
goals for this? What's important to you? What's useful? And have that drive your decisions, and not just the dollars, right? I think that's
Right.
the thing that people can fall into the trap of. Oh, I get those dollar symbols in my eyes, or the tax things that don't really
Yeah,
stick
don't do
out
it.
usually.
Yeah.
It's if people can think about it from where their goals are, what do you want to have
Right.
happen with this, and how does this
Right.
work? And maybe bringing in that extra revenue helps you reach your goals of remodeling or not, or doing other things. Great, but figure out, like so much what we talk about with people, right? It's about the plan and about what you want to have happen, and then the numbers come after that.
Right. It's like, I really appreciate how we've gotten back to, like, what's your dream? And let's define that dream more. Let's define that more, and then operate from that and let the money follow that.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's exactly it. So, as a way of maybe summarizing, and I kind of go back and forth on these things, you can pay some bills, right? So there's the financial side of it is there. Don't count on tax savings, because it's really
Neutral.
hard to
It might
figure
help
out.
you, it might not. I've seen some people where it helps, but
But the
it's
number
usually
one,
because there's spending a lot of money on it.
right?
Not
Anything can be a tax write-off. You lose enough money on
Yeah.
it, right?
Right.
But the biggest thing is put your goals first. Figure out what you want, right?
Right.
And then work those things behind. So those are kind of the three things maybe for takeaways I'd have
Great.
from this discussion.
Awesome. So to wrap this up, I'm Bridget Sullivan Mermel, and I've got a practice in Chicago, and this is John Shearer, and he's got a practice in Middleton, Wisconsin. We're both members of ACP, or the Alliance of Comprehensive Planners, which is a group of planners that has values that are common to us, a non-for-profit group. And if you like the way that we think through things, check out AC Planners, and if you're interested in finding a planner in your area. And John, you
Yeah,
want to talk about subscribing?
yeah, that's right. The other action item is to make sure you subscribe to our channel here. That helps other people find this sort of information. So if you find this valuable, please hit the subscribe button. And with that, until next time, Bridget.
Thanks, John.